Also tonight, we turn back the pages of HPD history for the stories of two officers who led extraordinary lives, former Governor John Burns and businessman rancher Larry Mehau. John Burns and Larry Mehau never served together, but because of their years as policemen, they understood each other, and in later life became trusted friends and unshakable political allies. As street cops, they walked long hours in patrol, and they spent time in vice, targeting gamblers, drug dealers, and prostitutes.
He was very street smart. As a detective, when he was with HPD and captain, he really developed this ability to read people well, as related to his work as a detective, and I think that helped him later in his political career, as he was able to figure out who he could trust or not trust and how he could relate best with people.
Neither officer knew the path they began at HPD would take them to the very top of Hawaii political power, or that their stories would have very different endings. Burns went on from HPD to become an architect behind statehood and the founder and namesake of the University of Hawaii's medical school. For Larry Mehau, there was the ultimate irony, a storied police career, but then accusations that he was the godfather of Hawaii organized crime. Was that accusation true? We will answer that question tonight on HPD Behind the Badge. John Burns showed promise at a young age. In 1941, as concerns rose over war with Japan, Captain Burns began work as head of HPD's newly established Espionage Bureau. He was just 32 years old. His mission? To gauge the loyalty to America of Hawaii's large local Japanese community. Burns and his HPD team quickly found no truth to rumors of widespread sabotage or subversive behavior. As his grandson shared with us, Captain Burns even wrote publicly about the loyalty of Hawaii's Japanese citizens.
As to our Japanese aliens, there is no showing that they are disloyal to the United States.
Honolulu attorney William Kaneko is an author and expert on Hawaii's Japanese-American experience in World War II.
Yeah, John Burns had a lot of courage in assessing accurately the loyalty of Japanese Americans. The political winds were by far against the Japanese American community, again, because they're perceived as the enemy.
After the war, when John Burns entered the world of Democratic Party politics, many former Nisei soldiers, grateful for his earlier support, provided him with a political base. While Burns was key to Hawaii gaining statehood in 1959, he lost the state's first race for governor. In his political campaigns, Burns faced and denied rumors. One was exceptionally vicious, that his wife Beatrice was confined to a wheelchair not because of polio, which was the truth, but was disabled because her husband had thrown her down a flight of stairs, crippling her for life. Burns first won election as Hawaii governor in 1962 and was elected to 2 more terms. He died of terminal cancer in 1975, unable to finish his final term in office. You are looking at actual documents from Operation Firebird, a secret law enforcement investigation launched in the 1970s. It involved the FBI, IRS, and others. The target, Larry Mehau, by now a successful behind-the-scenes political power broker. The Firebird findings contained stunning accusations of criminal activity on Mehau's part. More on Operation Firebird later. Larry Mehau died 11 years ago, but the passage of time has not diminished the number of stories of his impact on Hawaii's business and political world. Like John Burns, his leadership skills were apparent early, and he rose to a position of unrivaled political influence here. To many, he was a mysterious presence, only whispered about, moving quietly through the worlds of business and politics with friends both law-abiding and law-breaking. Mehau was considered fearless with a street fighter's mentality and expertise in judo and sumo. He demonstrated feats of strength, adding to an aura of extraordinary toughness. He originated HPD's Canine program, and under his command, the unit grew into the Metro Squad. Stories of Metro's legendary pre-body cam methods of dealing with street crime and uncooperative suspects still resonate today. His ability to influence people and events came not by imposing physical presence or rumors of underworld ties, but in traditional fashion. He was a tireless campaign organizer for his friends, John Burns, George Ariyoshi, Daniel Inouye, and many others. His driving force was not financial gain and was not complicated. It was simply the high level of personal satisfaction rising from a Chinatown street cop to statewide power broker. He had a natural talent for strategizing and a razor-sharp feel for political leverage, control, and power. In 1919, a Japanese crewman jumped ship in Honolulu Harbor and began a life here, hoping not to be discovered and deported. He was also a sumotori who wrestled under the name Yahateyama. He ran a laundry business and started a family, raising a son who became an attorney, the son not knowing for years his father's illegal status. The young attorney defended professional gamblers, most arrested in raids led by Vice Sergeant Larry Mehau. The attorney considered Mehau to be tough but honest. I was told that years later, power broker Mehau urged Governor Burns to pick that young attorney as his 1970 running mate. Burns did, and Hawaii history was changed forever. The son of an illegal alien later became the country's first Asian American governor. His name, George Ariyoshi. Ariyoshi and Mehau stayed close until Mehau died in 2015, a connection born years earlier in those Chinatown gambling raids. Operation Firebird never resulted in any evidence or charges against Mehau. And when I interviewed him in Waimea 41 years ago, he blamed Honolulu prosecutor Charles Marsland for baseless accusations of him being a criminal godfather.
No matter what is said in the future, no matter what is printed or what is shown on TV, and even if Marsland were to say I'm not, a percentage of the population will always believe I am, yes.
And how do you react to that?
I guess I'm stuck with that. Don't enjoy it. I don't appreciate it. And it's not something you can, take lightly.
But even today, questions remain. Former U.S. Attorney Dan Bent once called Mehau a significant organized crime figure with substantial influence in state government. But he offered no evidence, and to us, the U.S. Attorney was wrong. I knew former Honolulu Police Chief Francis Keala well, and Keala's integrity was unchallenged. He said we had nothing to prove that Mehau was the godfather. It is important to remember, being a godfather is not a crime. So was Larry Mehau Hawaii's godfather? We believe the answer is yes, but in terms of influence, not criminal activity. In Mehau's case, godfather meant being respected and listened to by those on both sides of the law. We do know this: the rise to power of those two extraordinary street cops, John Burns and Larry Mehau, and their place in Hawaii's past will never be erased by time.